before they are completely gone, I wanted to show y'all that the wild blackberries have been blooming. They were blooming quite well over the weekend, but now they're starting to die back. And if you happen to see, somebody is out of his pen. We don't worry about it too much right now because he's been sticking close to home and he comes in and out at his leisure, unfortunately. And that's because Astro's horns come back up and over his head so they don't catch, and he just army crawls under the bottom part of the fence way over there. Poor Chief is stuck in the pen waiting for Astro to come back because Chief's horns go out and away from his head so it gets wider and he cannot get through the same way Astro can. So, good and bad. Astro has free reign of the property here around. One of the good aspects of that is he is helping to keep down some of all this bramble over here. We have some poison ivy there that hopefully he will start getting to. Our goal is to enclose this area and create a door essentially over there near where Astro is against the fence to be able to allow both goats to be able to go and get the forage that they need. See, this is what Astro does. He just sticks his head under and army crawls. And he has been doing this multiple times a day for a couple of weeks. So, we could try to install some more T-posts over there, but honestly, unless we get some strong reinforcement for the bottom of that fence, Astro's just going to keep finding a hole or creating a hole and getting under. So that's why really we need to do what has been on our agenda to do for a couple of years, and that is to enclose more space. And we would eventually like to be able to rotate them through essentially pastures, leave them in there for maybe a week, then move them to the next spot, and then bring them back to this pen, and hopefully some of this has grown up by that point. That way they have a constant rotation of food, and they can also help us, like I said, control some of that poison ivy that is over here. So that kind of brings me back to the original conversation of the wild blackberries. Whenever I do pick the wild blackberries, and they'll probably be ready in April, since they've almost completed their bloom cycle. You see all those white flowers are the blooms. So when I pick those wild blackberries, I have to be very careful to look before I reach, because a lot of things kind of look similar to that poison ivy. But, yeah, that's some poison ivy there, right there. Not that one, not that sturdy plant there in the middle, but that one right there. Let's zoom in a little bit. That's our poison ivy, and we have it in multiple places here on the property. Okay, so what else? As you can see, some of our seedlings have come up. Our goal this weekend was to try to get the white fence up, and you see we have not gotten that electric fence up yet around the garden. So we'll make it another goal to try to get it done this week before the weekend. We will be at the shindig this weekend, so hopefully we'll be able to, like I said, get that done before then. But since I am on my lunch break and I'm going to have a salad for lunch, I am going to snip a few of these items that I seeded really thickly, especially the sprouting broccoli. Some of it is older seed, and I wanted to make sure I got good germination. Plus, with not having the fence up, if the chickens got a hold of some, I wanted to have enough that we would still have our veggies. And yeah, so I'm gonna just snip a few of those to add to my salad to be essentially like microgreens, and plus that will thin them out so that the plants that are left will grow strong and robust. Ooh, and look how happy the rosemary is looking. Still a little bit of frost kiss damage there in the center, but it's starting to really leaf out. Things are saying it's spring, and they're super happy. The spring blush tendril peas are coming up, which is another reason we really need to get that fence up so I can set up the trellis. But I don't want to set up the trellis because then I don't want to set up the trellis until the chickens are, well, not the chickens are quarantined. The garden is quarantined from the chickens. Otherwise, they will dig it out and we will lose all those young plants that we've gotten. I did finish snipping off the spent blooms from these butterfly bushes. That was something I should have done last fall and didn't get to finish it. But I finished it yesterday while we were playing with the puppies while our friend was here. The spearmint and chocolate mint over there and the lemon balm are all looking great. And this yarrow that I transplanted from the middle of our driveway is looking like it's taken pretty well. So we'll continue to fill this bed. I may actually go ahead and put the few remaining elderberry bushes that I have from last year that have survived. We got 15, I believe it was, and we only have a handful of them that are left that survived all that time. But hey, we still have some left, so it's worth planting them to see how they do, and maybe we'll purchase more either this year or next year. Alright, well, I better go ahead and get back to getting those greens to add to my salad so I can take my lunch and get back to work. Y'all have a blessed day, and come back for our next video. It'll be up soon.